Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside the Hawks Nest here in French Lick, where today the Senators open up pool play in this year's edition of the Springs Valley Holiday Tourney. And while the Senators enter this tourney as defending back-to-back champions, they will try today to snap a 4-game losing streak. Meanwhile, the host Blackhawks open up play in their own tournament after a red-hot start of 6-1 on the year, coming off of back-to-back dominating performances just before the Christmas break. Today it's the Senators and the Blackhawks, two longtime PLAC rivals, set to do battle here at the Hawks Nest this afternoon, and your countdown to the tip starts now. Hello again, everyone, and happy holidays to everyone. Hope you had a great Christmas. I'm Misty Jones, and joining me in just a moment for today's broadcast of Senator basketball on WSLM AM and FM today will be my broadcast partner and my sidekick, Senator football's own coach, Mark Gibson. Well, this busy slate of 3 games within a 2-day span could prove to be very interesting for this young Senator ball club. Hopefully Santa received their letter in the mail and brought or delivered that little shot or boost of confidence to this group. Again, riding a 4-game skid and coming off of that heartbreaking loss in overtime to the Borden Braves in the consolation game of that holiday tourney up at Salem about 12 days ago. Of course, the Senators coming in not only off of this tournament, but 3 prior losses to that. The good news, the silver lining to that cloud, is that today the Senators get back their floor general freshman point guard Holden Bousman and will be injected back into the lineup after battling some concussion-like symptoms, as well as getting Cam Zink back and healthy after battling a concussion as well in that Eastern ball game. And while the Senators have certainly struggled over this little 4-game slide, especially in the last 2 games, it's been more of an offensive problem for them because 32 points is what they're averaging in those 2 games from the holiday tourney up at Salem in the losses to both the Braves and the Lions, trying to get a little bit of definition back within that dribble drive, pick and roll style of motion offense for them will be a key here today. And of course, getting into that attack mode as well, looking to attack off that high ball screen. Defensively, this group, though, has appeared to lost a little bit of their energy they had early on. I felt like in the first 3-4 ball games, and especially into that first half at Paoli a few weeks ago, Senators really, exerted a lot of energy at the defensive end and brought a little life to the lackluster offense at times with their defensive prowess, and they'll certainly see if they can get back on track with that today. But as I bring in Senator defensive coach on the football side of things, Mark Gibson, today is a new day, and I'm sure this group has put in a lot of solid work getting ready. Again, they've had approximately 12 days off to work on some individual things and some things on the drawing board that maybe they wanted to look at as a team, some areas where they can improve. Coach, where do you look to see that improvement today out of Coach Smith's club?
Well, I think you just hit the nail on the head. The first few games, they really made a point of playing with pressure on the defensive side. And then the last couple, I don't know, maybe with that stretch of ball games maybe tired them out, or, they didn't seem to be bringing that same amount of passion to the defensive side. So I think a big key tonight is, and that is one that I even marked down for myself, is that we got to get back to playing pressure D, make shots difficult. I mean, in some of the games we've lost in this streak, we've given up a lot of easy looks. I mean, that wasn't the case the first few ball games. They made things difficult for the opponent on the offensive side. So we need to get back to some more passion on the defensive side. And another thing, like you said, we'll see how their conditioning is, especially Holden coming back after missing 2 games. He's probably been doing a lot of conditioning, but it's just not the same when you get out there in game situations. So watching his wind is going to be a key. Is he going to be able to stay out there in long stretches of time, or is Coach Smith going to have to run him out for 3 and 4 minutes and then sit him for 3 and 4? It'll be interesting to see. And that goes along with the entire team, because like you said, they've been off for 12 days. That's something like, been off for at least a week and a half, and you never know if you can come back with the same amount of conditioning. So I'm sure they've addressed that in practice. And one other thing I think, and we're going to listen to Coach, the last few games he's been really preaching shot selection. So that's going to be a big key tonight as well.
Well, on the flip side, the Blackhawks and head coach Michael Lietzman have been nothing short of impressive through their first 6 games, of course, accumulating that 6-1 mark. Their lone blemish, a loss to the Salem Lions here in the Hawks Nest a couple of weeks ago, but it was a closely contested ball game a game where Salem used some nifty rebounding skills down late in the ball game, pulled up with some big rebounds down the stretch to kind of secure things, and they were also able to salt that game away at the free throw line with some good shooting from the stripe as well to give the Hawks their lone loss on the season. Of course, this is a veteran group led by a couple of seniors, and Braden Whitaker, 6'3" wing player that can get out, they can score the rock. Zach Carnes will kind of run the show as the floor general for them, and Whitaker's 14 points per game will certainly be something on the minds of the Senator coaching staff. Within the scouting report, where do the Senators, though, find their success defensively and kind of make their mark today, Coach?
Well, in the last couple of ball games, at least in the holiday tournament, you saw Coach Smith kind of switch it up on the defensive side. So it wouldn't surprise me if he does the same tonight. A little jump in zone, trapping zone some, and then the next time down the floor, just straight man-to-man. I would think with the success that teams have had in this losing streak of getting to the rim, that he wants to try and kind of pack it in a little bit and see if these guys make these guys be jump shooters. I would expect to see that a little bit tonight as well.
Well, as always, during this portion of our Senator Tip-Off pregame show and special coverage of this 2017 Springs Valley Holiday Tourney, we want to thank you, the fans, for tuning in to today's broadcast of Senator basketball here on WSLM, both AM and FM today. If you're listening at home or while you're out maybe doing some shopping, catching some clearance sales in the stores, you can find us on both dials here this afternoon live from the Hawks Nest. And we want to give a shout out to all the sponsors that make this and every broadcast of Senator basketball possible. And those sponsors include our pregame show sponsor bringing you this pregame coverage today, John Jones GM City, as well as our halftime report sponsor, and that is Eddie Gilstrap Motors just south of the square in Salem. And then Ace Hardware will bring you our post-game show coverage live here from Springs Valley High School today. Also, we want to thank McDonald's, Walmart, Brady Bishop, and Channel Seed, as well as Salem Crossing and Meadowview Healthcare, all terrific sponsors of Senator basketball this season on WSLM. Before we take a break, I just want to give a little shout out. I promised Gary Chastain that I would give him a little shout out, so hopefully he's listening. He was a little upset his Brownfield market update would be interrupted today during the pregame, but Gary, if you're listening, Victoria said to say hello as well if I got a chance today, so just wanted to give that shout out to Gary and hope that he's having a good afternoon, and I'm sure he got a good laugh out of that little jab I just gave. So with that said, we'll take our first break of the day. We'll get a word from the Indiana High School Athletic Association, and after that 60-second timeout, we'll come back and be joined by Senator head coach Sean Smith here on our pregame show coverage live from the Hawks Nest. It's the Senators and Hawks today in the Springs Valley Holiday Tournament. Back with more in just a moment.
Before the big plays, before the magical moments, before all that discipline, dedication, and teamwork finally pays off, comes your support. The IHSAA Foundation is dedicated to protecting, sustaining, and nurturing education-based athletics in Indiana. Its work will ensure IHSAA members, schools, and coaches receive the support they need so that Indiana student-athletes receive the opportunity they deserve. Learn more at ihsaafoundation.org.
Welcome back as we continue on with more of this edition of our special Senator Tip-Off pregame show ahead of pool play here in the 2017 Springs Valley Holiday Tourney. And we're joined now, as always, on this portion of the show by Senator head coach, Mr. Sean Smith. Coach, you've had some time off, about 12 days to let the boys unwind a little bit, to get some work in, some fine-tuning from the first 7 games or so. Just talk to us about how you spent the break with the guys and what your focus was in practice.
Well, yeah, it's been nice to have a little time off, and certainly gave our guys some days off. That the beginning of the year is such a blur. You just jump into it and have game after game after game, and so it's nice to give the guys a little downtime. And then really we just worked on just trying to continue to get better defensively and just get better at little things. We still have a long way to go, but just continue to try to get a little bit better each day.
Of course, coming off of that heartbreaker in the consolation game of the holiday tourney, a 37-36 loss in overtime. Another game where it just seemed like we kind of struggled to get into a little bit of a rhythm in the half court. I know we didn't get a chance to talk in the post game, but just give me some reflective thoughts on that game with Borden.
Well, the very first possession kind of was like the game last time we played them in the championship game. They came out and they worked the ball and spread the floor for about 3 minutes, or it seemed like, and until they took a shot, and then they were able to race out to a 6-0 lead, and then we battled back, and it was nip and tuck, but it kind of set the tone that it was going to be a low-scoring possession basketball game, and that's okay. I mean, we had an opportunity. We had the opportunity to win the game. We were up 2 and had on 2 different, they were late, had a chance, 2 different chances to get a 4-point lead, which in a game like that is huge. It's crazy to say 4 points is breathing room, but in that game, 4 points would have been at that juncture of the game would have certainly been some breathing room, and we just didn't. We had a turnover. We had a great opportunity off a pick and roll to score, and then of course we had free throws, a chance to put us up 4, and we didn't convert, and then they came down and made a play, and you got to give them credit. The Nolenberg kid took the ball to the rack and converted, and we fouled him, and he stepped up and made his free throw, and they made a play, and it's frustrating, but it's something we got to learn from and get better from.
And, of course, you did have an opportunity there, a good look for Parker Green from the left wing. Just comes up a little bit short in the loss. Coach, in that game, some may seem to think or have the idea that you was a little bit short-handed. Even though you had Cam back, he was really coming off of about a week or two's rest after suffering a concussion earlier on over at Eastern, and then Holden was out as well with concussion-like symptoms. So talk to us a little bit about their progression over the break and how they've kind of got back into a flow.
Yeah, I mean, Cam, we pretty much threw him back in there. He was not conditioned to play that weekend. He'd been released and had, been able to get a practice under his belt, but you could tell he was red in the face. He wasn't he wasn't in basketball shape, let's say that. But he went out and did his best. And then having Holden, just especially the night before in the Salem game when we were pressed certainly helped. But I think, it would have been big in the Borden game too, because he has a knack for stepping up and making plays, and just having that another ball handler, another defender out there would have been a huge difference as well. But we just try to get guys in shape a little bit too over the break here too. We definitely did some work with that. Did some work, just from a conditioning standpoint, both mentally and physically, and hopefully our guys are in a little better shape. We're going to be shorthanded again today. Nick Mars is out. He's been puking all day and can't seem to get it. He's got that bug. It's 24 hours probably where he's nonstop throwing up. So we unfortunately we don't have him today, and we hope he gets better. And hopefully he'll be able to play tomorrow. But I also know he'll be probably drained a little bit from that. I mean, it's hard to say how he'll be condition-wise tomorrow if he does return. So, we just haven't really been able to get here the last, I guess 3 times out here where we have double weekends, and now this 3 games in 2 days. We haven't really been able to get full strength. But that's just something that you got to play through, and other guys need to step up and take advantage of the opportunities that they have with guys in front of them out.
Nice thing about having this time off, Coach, not only do you get to work on some things personally with your team and individually, but then you also get to look ahead at your next opponent and get a little bit more breathing room to work on that scouting report. Quickly tell us a little bit about this Springs Valley team you faced today.
Springs Valley is a very good team. I thought last year they were a really solid team. They won 14, 15 games last year. They lost maybe a player or two, but they had a JV team that went undefeated, and those guys were getting some minutes last year. Now they're pretty much stepped up and they're ready to play varsity basketball. And they just have a really solid team. They all handle the ball really well. They all can shoot. They play really hard on the defensive end. They're a scrappy group. They just seem to really know how to play the game and how to compete and win. And they're at a different stage in the process than we are, certainly with us being young and having guys kind of learning on the job. They've been through that part of the process, and now it's time for them to step up and be contenders. And I think they are legit contenders in their sectional, and it's gonna be a tough game for us here on the road. But they got a couple 6'3" kids in Whitaker and Toe who can also step out and shoot and take it off the dribble, and can just do it. They're just really nice players, and then they have several scrappy guards who can knock it down and, like I said, handle the ball well and are scrappy on defense.
Coach, with more of a guard-oriented lineup that you'll see today against the Blackhawks, how does that affect any adjustments you might make with your game planning, and what does your lineup look like for today?
Well, we're gonna go with more guard-oriented lineup today as well. Matching up with them because they have all 5 guys can step out and handle the ball and can shoot it. And we're going to match up to them a little bit from a defensive perspective, and also take a look at a little smaller lineup and see how that goes. So we're going with 4 guards and Bousman, Green, Nichols, and Zink, and then would have went with Mars as our post with him being out sick. We're going to go with Sanford as our post guy. So I mean we're much smaller lineup than what we've been putting out there, but we can kind of see how that matches up and see what we can do, some different looks offensively.
Coach, we wish you all the best today in this PLAC rivalry game and the holiday tourney, and look forward to getting your thoughts after the game.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Coach Smith and the Senators set to take on the Blackhawks here today at the Hawks Nest. Stick with us. We'll have more of our pregame in a moment. You're listening to the Senators in the 2017 Springs Valley Holiday Tourney on WSLM.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
I needed a cooler for our annual fishing trip, and I heard Ace has Yeti.
Jack was right. We do have Yeti coolers. I told him about the permafrost insulation and the fact that Yeti coolers are built for the wild, and that Yeti Tundra is guaranteed grizzly-proof.
Ace is the place with grizzly-proof Yeti coolers.
Welcome back as we continue on with more of this edition of our Senator Tip-Off pregame show as we get you set today for the Senators and the Blackhawks here in pool play of the Springs Valley Holiday Tourney. And we're joined now in our pregame coverage by Michael Leitzman, head coach of the Springs Valley Blackhawks. Coach, tell us a little bit about your team's hot start and what's been the keys to your success thus far.
The big thing with this team is they're just a really unselfish group. They take a lot of pride on the defensive end. They take a lot of pride in rebounding. It's something that we really struggled to do over the summer, and last year was rebound the basketball, and this year we really made an emphasis. And these 5 guys, I don't think any of them are great rebounders, but as a group, they really try to hit the boards hard and show a lot of effort. That's a big thing with this group too, is effort. They really play hard. They get after it. They're just such an easy team to coach. They all have bought in. They love to share the basketball, and they give me 100%. They give us coaches 100% every game. So that's all you can ask for is good attitude and good effort, and that's what this group does.
I think maybe that's a characteristic that sometimes goes unmeasured a little bit and unappreciated, the effort level, especially whenever you have a lineup like yours. It's a little bit smaller than most teams you play.
Yeah, we're a small group. We play 4 guards, and then we got, Ryan Tao has some length, at our center position, but, we bring out off the bench 3 guards, so we're really guard heavy. A lot of guys under 6 foot, but we're really scrappy, and that's something I like about this group is that they're willing to stick their nose in there and get on the floor for loose balls and play hard. And you got to have a group like that when you have the size that we do. We're usually undersized against teams, but we make up for a lot of it with just our scrappiness and our effort.
6-1 record coming into your own tournament. That lone loss to Salem, a good battle though that you had with them here on your home floor, and now you turn your attention to another Washington County and of course conference opponent West Washington. What do you know about the Senators?
Well, it goes off how they've done the past 2 years. They've had a lot of success, a lot of tournament success, and these guys might not have played a whole lot last year, but they watched that success. You know, they watched how they win, and they watched what it takes to win every day, and that's important. You know, you start seeing that and seeing that culture, and it kind of helps throughout all your grades, and they kind of come up with that right mindset, and they've already kind of bought in because they've seen what the older kids above them have done. And I know the Mars kid played quite a bit last year, and he's going to be a handful, really good post player that we got to be ready to defend. And they got some talented freshmen. You know, I think this team, you know, I think they're better than what their record says. You know, 2-5. They played some really good teams. You know, they played Salem twice, who beat us. They played Paoli, who's having a really good year. So I mean, they're really battle tested based off their competition. And with a young team like that, you know, I think they have a lot of upside, and they're very, very skilled.
And that was some of my conversation earlier this afternoon with Springs Valley head coach, Mr. Michael Leitzman. Time to bring you our keys to victory today, brought to you by our pregame show sponsor, John Jones GM City. First and foremost for West Washington, put the fast in the break, coach. We got to get the ball out, I think, and try to score some in transition against the Hawks. And secondly, attack the paint. Feels like, you know, we see so many times that pick and roll, that high screen, we get the roll man, but we don't really look to attack, get the feet square. I know it's something that Jake Strange was working on before the break. So hopefully we can attack inside with a little bit of our size today, even though we're shorthanded without Nick. And then finally, hustle and heart. You know, I feel like the defensive energy just really hasn't been there over this 4-game skid, aside from maybe the first half at Paoli. So we'll see if we can't get it back in gear today defensively. And those, again, are our keys to victory, brought to you by John Jones GM City. John Jones is a proud sponsor of the Senators all season long, bringing you this special Senator tip-off pregame show coverage. Call the fine folks at John Jones GM City, 1-800-I-SELL-GM. That's 1-800-473-5546. Check them out on the web at johnjonesautogroup.com, or better yet, stop by that beautiful showroom and lot, 1450 South State Road 60 in Salem. John Jones GM City. You see so many because they pay so little. We're going to step aside, take one more quick break, get in another sponsor. We'll come back with the starting lineups and the opening tip of the Blackhawks and the Senators, set to get it on here today on WSLM.
At Meadowview Health and Rehabilitation, we offer hope in the form of our Moving Forward short-term rehabilitation to home program. With a full range of therapy programs, the goal of Moving Forward rehabilitation is to help people return home safely with the skills they need to live life on their own terms. Call us and ask us about your Medicare replacement policy or managed insurance policy and what your benefits are. We are here to help. For more information about Meadowview, visit ascseniorcare.com or call 812-883-4681.
We welcome you back inside the Hawks Nest here at French Lick Springs Valley High School, where today the Senators and Hawks set to do battle in pool play of this holiday tourney. Let's look at today's starting lineup, brought to you by John Jones GM City. First for Michael Leitzman, 20-11 in his second season here in the Valley. His team boasts a 6-1 start, 3-0 in the conference thus far in the Patoka Lake. They'll start a 4-guard set. Number 11, Zach Carnes, 5'9" and a senior, at 5.9 points and nearly 2 rebounds per game. He'll be joined in the backcourt by number 3, Christian Tucker, 5'9" and a junior, at 11.5 points, 3.5 rebounds per contest. Braden Whitaker, number 24, starts at the wing, another guard, 6'3" and a senior, 14 points and nearly 5.5 rebounds per contest to lead the team, as well as 0, Jackson Land, 5'11" and a junior, at 5.5 points and 5.5 rebounds per game. Ryan Tao starts at the center spot. Number 2, 6'4" and a senior, at 11.3 points and nearly 4.5 rebounds per contest. For Coach Michael Leitzman, whose team averages 56.7 but gives up 38.9 per contest. Their last outing was a win over Lagodi at home back on December 16th, 65-48, the final in that one. For Sean Smith's Senators, Sean's 54-32 in his 4th year in the Berg, 139 and 121 in his 12th year overall. His team averages 44.7 and gives up 51.3. Of course, that last outing, an overtime loss to Borden, 37-36 in the holiday tourney consolation game. Senators are 2-5 on the year. They start 22, Holden Bousman, 6 foot and a freshman, at 7.5 points per game. He leads the team with 3.5 steals as well. 10, Cam Zink, 6 foot and a senior, at 2 points per game. starts in the backcourt with him, as well as Holden's freshman classmate, number 12, Parker Green, 6 foot and a freshman at 6.5 points per game. Mikey Nichols, the fourth guard in our set today. Mikey's 5'10" and a junior at 6.3 per game and nearly 2.5 assists to lead the team. And in Nick's place in the lineup today, Harrison Sanford, 6'2" and a sophomore at 4 points, 4.5 rebounds per game for Coach Sean Smith. Your Indiana High School Athletic Association officials today are Mr. Kevin Chrisman, Mark Chrisman, his brother, and Mr. Larry Abbott, who Senator fans have seen already this year as well. Senators in the traveling blue uniforms trimmed in red and white, with red letters and numerals. Valley in the home white threads trimmed in black and gold with gold letters and numerals as Ryan Tao misses on Valley's first possession. Senators on your WSLM AM and FM dial open up, going from left to right this afternoon. Senators with the early turnover here as the Hawks have a second crack at it offensively. Not to start the Senators need, and a quick three from the wing. And that is Whitaker at 14 points per game that gets the Hawks on the board first. Give them the 3-0 advantage here 50 seconds in to this one. We'll see a little half-court trap, a kick out front. Good feet. Quick feet by Ryan Tao as he extends pressure on Holden Bousman out with a double team, Coach.
Yeah, they're starting out with this jumping with a 1-2-2 zone. They've trapped a couple times and that caused the turnover, and they're getting in the passing lane. So we need to, coaches are always talking about play with poise, especially with this experienced group that Valley has. We have to stick around. We can't let them just go right on a run right at the very beginning. They have to play with poise, and we have to stick around.
Senators working against that half-court trap. Bousman in trouble, gives it up to Nichols right side. Now short corner, they go to Sanford. He had it poked away shortly. And it'll be Senator basketball to reset kind of over in the corner. Bad spot for them. 6:53 to go. First quarter of play from the Hawks Nest. Senators and Blackhawks getting on here in pool play. Misty Jones alongside of Coach Mark Gibson of Senator Football as we bring you coverage on WSLN this afternoon. This little mid-afternoon matinee performance as Nichols misses the shot from outside. Back to the other end, Whitaker going to give it up far side to Tucker, who kicked it back out top to Carnes. Tucker also a very valuable score at 11.5 per game for Coach Michael Leitzman. 3 ball on the way for Tucker is good. And the Hawks start out with back-to-back triples from downtown, and it's a little 6-0 spurt to start the game for the 6-1 Hawks. Half-court pressure again, ball knocked away from Nichols. Holden saves it off the deflection, and he'll bring it back across the timeline and be met by 6'4" Ryan Tao. Gives it up to Zink. Now back to Bousman. Skips it across left wing to Nichols. Back out top to Holden. Holden looks in the corner at Zink. Bobbled it. Probably had a chance at a 3 if he'd have caught it clean. Ball swung around the perimeter. Harrison Sanford, left corner pocket. It won't go. Nice rebound. And in transition, Tucker to the other end looking for point number 4 and 5 and got it on the layup attempt. So Christian Tucker already almost halfway to his season average. 5 quick ones for him. And just like that, it's 8-0 in favor of the Hawks. 30-second timeout for Coach Sean Smith. Again, that trap seeming to give us a little bit of trouble, not letting us get any early continuity on the offensive end.
Yeah, they have Tao out in front of that 1-3-1, and he has already got 3 deflections already just in the first, whatever, it's been 3 minutes. So, yeah, his length is really giving us trouble on the offensive side. It's 8-0. Great timeout by Coach Smith. Get his guys back under control. Got to forget about that. We talked about it, I think, at the holiday tournament, where we talked about how basketball is said, and you said it was cliche, but it is such a game of runs. Well, now we have to make a run of our own. You have to just start climbing back into it. It's just, you have to make sure you're not giving them easy buckets. That was a coast-to-coast layup. Somebody's got to stop the ball at some point. But now we have to fight back. I'm sure that's what he said in the huddle. They've had their little run. Now let's start playing some b-ball.
Senators go with a little 2-1-2, a little classic Indiana Hoosier half-court zone offense here to try to release some of this pressure out top. Nichols and Zink in a bit of trouble. Give it up to Bousman. As he works the dribble against Carnes. Goes baseline, nowhere to go. Skips it across. Nifty pass to Nichols, whose 3 goes off the mark, no good. And Zach Carnes pulls it down for the Hawks in transition. Whitaker, left side, stops. Used up the dribble. Tries to skip it cross court. And on the pass over to Jackson Land across the way, it'll be Valley's first turnover. It sails into the bottom row of bleachers over near the Paoli team, who is here taking this one in. They will be up next. Shoals played Martinsville Tabernacle in game one. Shoals won a thriller. Paoli and Shoals will follow this one at 5:30. The nightcap will feature the Hawks and the Mustangs of New Washington as pool play continues on here today at Springs Valley High School. Holden has it out top, thought about a deep three, instead give it up to Zink in the corner, had it poked away. Holden will get it back out of trouble. Senators trying to shake some rust here early, 4:51 and counting. First quarter of play, 8-0 start here for the Hawks. In the corner, Zink has it, tries to feed in the post to Green, had it poked away. Turnover number 2 for West Washington, and to the other end, Valley will slow it up. They give it off to Carnes, who goes off the dribble against Nichols. Nice reversal, and a three won't go for land, and the rebound's pulled down by Harrison Sanford. So Senators narrowly escaping a couple of daggers here early as Holden's doubled up out front, jump ball, and it will go to West Washington at the 4:22 mark.
Senators have done a little bit better job defensively the last 2 possessions. So 2 possessions ago, they stopped the fast break and end up getting the turnover. And that time they moved around a little bit. They got down in their stances, and it forced the missed shot. So at least that part of it was much better.
Harrison Sanford down low off the feed from Bausman's shot wouldn't go. Number 5, Cole Cooper, a 5'10 junior at 2.4 per game, has checked in for the Hawks. Abels will check in with the freshman big man Jake Strange. Next dead ball for West Washington as the Hawks turn it over for the second time here in the period. Harrison catches clean, right corner, got to get out of the trap zone. Able to get it out to Holden, who's doubled up, and he'll be fouled out front. I believe they'll tag Jackson Land, and they will. That'll be the game's first foul at the 3:49 mark. Harrison Sanford will check out, as well as Cam Zink, and again, Jake Strange at 6'4", and a freshman 3.5 points per game. He checks in along with Caden Abels at 3.5.
There's a couple times in the last couple games you've brought up where the Senators are passing around the perimeter, but not really being very aggressive or looking to the hoop. That's what's happening right now. The zone is making us very passive, so somebody has to be aggressive.
Jake catches on the baseline, right side, kicks it back out to Abels. Abels now goes off the dribble. Nice little crossover as he worked it against Tucker and left it off for Jake, who couldn't finish down low. Rebound secured by Whitaker. Now back in transition. Hawks will try to get something out of the break. They give it up to the trailer. That's Whitaker. Spins, works against Jake Strange. Kicks corner. 3 ball on the way off the mark. No good for Christian Tucker. And Parker Green chases it down in the far corner. Abels across the timeline now. Slows it up. He's out there with Holden and Parker, Mikey Nichols, and Jake Strange. Abels has it now off the little double screen. Can't get a shot off. Gavin Smith will check in next dead ball, 6'2" and a sophomore. Didn't see much of Gavin in the holiday tourney prior to the break. We'll see Gavin check in here in just a moment. Senators again being super passive, really trying to protect against this little half-court zone trap. They turn it over for the 3rd time, so a little too passive. They have to start applying a little bit more pressure and trying to get that zone trap to break a little more.
It just wasn't a very crisp pass by Parker. And these guys, like I said, an experienced team happened to us against Paoli. An experienced team like that is not going to let a half-hearted pass get through. They're going to steal it.
Tucker will take it into traffic, have it blocked by Holden and by Mikey Nichols, both there at the scene of the crime. They'll throw it in transition to Abels. He tries to cross over, and he'll be bumped off the tracks. And I believe they'll get Christian Tucker for this one. This will be team foul number 2. Senators yet to commit a personal thus far as Gavin Smith will check in. We'll also see Jackson Land return, and for the first time today, we'll see Isaac Carnes, a 6'2" senior at 2.3 per game for Coach Michael Leitzman and the Hawks.
The defense is starting to step up a little bit for the Senators, but you just can't, and that's been the story of the season so far. Offensively, it's just been a struggle.
Little double stack, one at the block and one at the elbow ball side. They get it in. Nice look for Holden. Couldn't get the corner 3 to go. Rebound pulled down by the Hawks, and they're back in transition. Nice crossover, nifty move, and a little teardrop off the glass. Will go for Jackson Land. He's got his first 2 of the afternoon, and it's now a 10-0 start for the Hawks. Senators have had a couple of opportunities, just can't get anything to go. Holden with the turnover. Threw it into the hands of a Valley Blackhawk, and a nice feed down low. And Cole Cooper quickly into the scoring act as well off the bench, and it's now a 12-0 start for West Washington underneath. Nice feed from Nichols to Gavin Smith. Missed the wide open bunny, got his own rebound, and be fouled on his way back up. Senators just cannot remove the lid off the bucket. We'll have our third foul of the day, all on the Hawks, and this one will go against number 11, Zach Carnes, as he picks up his first of the day. And to the line, Gavin Smith. And again, we didn't see much of Gavin in that holiday tourney at Salem. Saved most of his playing time for the JV holiday tourney, which the Senators were able to win. Gavin Smith finally breaks this scoring drought with 2 free throws at the 1:16 mark of this first quarter of play, make it 12-2 now. As the Senators got a long way to go in this one, but they're going to have to buckle down a little bit more defensively. Try to start, again, applying some pressure at the offensive end as well, looking to attack more against that trap. Nichols out there with Smith, Abels, Bousman, and Green right now. A super small lineup for West Washington. Under a minute to play. 12-2 your score here early from the Hawks Nest. Little fake on the handoff. Jackson Land nowhere to go with it. Had to kick it back out to Isaac Carnes. Now to Zach Carnes on the wing in front of Coach Smith. Holden comes out to pick up pressure. He got beat off the dribble, but Harrison that was Parker Green able to slip over and block it from behind out of bounds. 35.3 on the clock. See Zach Carnes check out of the ball game. Hawks with a box set underneath their own basket. Coming up on a half minute to go, trying to get a post player matched up against Mikey Nichols, and they could not find Land initially. They got him now on the wing left side. Back out front to Cole Cooper. He goes off the dribble, kicks back out the Land. Around the perimeter it goes to Carnes. And now over on the wing to Trenton McElfresh, a 5'10 senior in. Nice feed. And Cole Cooper with another easy one. Give him 4 on the afternoon. And it's 14-2. Under 5 seconds to go. Nichols will drive baseline left side and got one to go as time expires. But the Senators super stale offensively through the first 8 minutes of play. The Hawks lead at 14-4 after 1 quarter. We'll come back with more from the Hawks Nest right after this word from one of our sponsors.
Caring people make the difference. You can feel it the minute you walk into Salem Crossing. Experts in long-term care, not just doing a job, but following a calling. They're here to help you and your family find answers and solutions and peace of mind. In fact, they become an extension of your family. For more information about Salem Crossing, visit ASCSSeniorCare.com or call 812-883-1877. That's 812-883-1877.
Inside the Hawks Nest here at Springs Valley High School. Senators trailing at 14-4 after the first quarter stop. I'll try to bounce back here in the second period of play. Folks, we want to remind you to stay warm this weekend. It's going to get colder. Becky reminding us right before we went on the air, she had a very brisk 26 degrees out on Radio Ridge. So, Coach, I know you're not a fan of the cold weather, so make sure you stay bundled up.
Yeah, I am not. The older I get, I always used to think that was kind of cliche, but the older I get, yeah, I am not a fan. After the holidays are over, I'm ready for 75 degrees.
Nice. I think we all are. Maybe we'll get some hot shooting from the Senators in this second quarter to warm things up in here as Valley starts with the basketball. And a nice move for Isaac Carnes on the right side as he gets his first basket. Lead extended back to 12 at 16-4 out of the gates. Springs Valley pouring it on here with their defensive pressure, which is creating some offensive opportunities.
Right, I think it's directly due to that. We turned the ball up. They had 4 steals in the first quarter, and and there's an unforced error.
Abel's called for the carry substitution. Holden's going to check out, so we'll roll here at the beginning of the second quarter now with Nichols and Abels, the 2 junior guards, out there with 2 freshmen, Green and Strange, and 1 sophomore, Gavin Smith. Senators go a little man-to-man defense to open up the second quarter of play. They skip it cross court. Whitaker will try a 3. That one off the mark, left a little short. Nichols pulls down the defensive rebound for West Washington. minute gone by here, nearly in this second quarter of play. Ables will slip off the screen from Strange. Now they'll run a double screen for Nichols. They'll get it inside to Jake Strange, and he'll be whistled for a travel. Look like he got tied up first. So Jake still struggling a little bit in the post to really establish anything, going through some freshman woes and some growing pains, but Senators will have to get it back here on the defensive end, trailing at 16-4.
As a freshman going against a senior there, and it looked like it. He couldn't move Tao at all. Got a nice little deflection there, leads to a steal for Nichols, though.
Hawks turn it right back over and into the hands of Mikey Nichols, who comes up with the steal, and then Valley will commit their 4th personal of the day again. West Washington plays a clean first quarter as far as fouls are concerned. They've yet to commit a personal. This one's going to be whistled against Cole Cooper. That's his first of the afternoon.
Yeah, you know, sometimes it does affect. You talked about the defensive pressure and playing harder. I mean, it's bound to start affecting your defense when you have such a struggle on the offensive end.
Hawks have went to more of a pressure, just a half-court, man-to-man defense, forces the Senators into turnover number 7 on the afternoon. Zach Carnes comes back with it, leaves it off for Whitaker. The inside-out duo working it on the wing, and Carnes' three-point shot from the corner will sail over the backboard through the support. It'll be whistled out of bounds, and it'll go back to West Washington with 6:16 to play here in the first half. Senators on the struggle bus offensively, trailing at 16-4 as Ables now walks it into the front court, sends it off left side to Green, uses up one dribble, back to Nichols and to Ables. They find Gavin Smith, who flashes into the paint. His shot won't go. Lid still on it for West Washington at point-blank range as Whitaker comes out of there with it. Lays it off now for Carnes, who dribbles into the front court. Back to Whitaker, the trailer, and now a nice quick take to the basket. Strong first step, and a quick one at that for Christian Tucker, who now has 7 on the afternoon. And the Hawks lead it 18-4, their largest lead of the day.
I mean, who's going to make? Coach talked about who's going to make plays. Well, against Borden, I think it was Parker Green. I mean, maybe Parker needs to be a little bit more aggressive. You know, somebody has to step up and make plays, stop the runs.
Nichols gets it on the pass back out from Smith in the post. Green will go back to Smith, and Gavin will have it blocked. Look like a clean one, but we get a courtesy whistle. And Kevin Crispin with the call. This one looks like it'll go against Braden Whitaker, his first team foul, number 5 on the afternoon. Bausman and Zink set the check back in. 5:22 to go. And Gavin Smith back to the free throw line where he's 2 of 2 on the afternoon. First one is up and good. So Gavin trying to keep the heartbeat of the Senator offense going as Ables will check out with Green. So still playing a lot of small ball again without Nick Mars today with some flu-like symptoms. So we want to wish Nick all the best in his recovery. Hopefully just a 24-hour bug. Stay hydrated as Gavin knocks them both down. So he's got 4 all from the charity stripe, and it's 18-6, rolling up on the 5-minute mark here this second quarter. Cooper has it on the wing. Left side for the Hawks, kicked it back out to Lane, who takes it now on the dribble, using a lot of dribble up right side, skips it now cross court to Tucker, back out to Carnes. Zach, 3 on the way, long and off the mark, but a big offensive rebound for the Hawks, and a nice back cut to Cole Cooper, who finishes at the rim once more. He's got 6, and they'll drive it back to a 14-point advantage at 20-6. Back to the half-court trap out top. Holden able to break pressure, but goes into no man's land in the corner. That's an ultimate cardinal sin no-no for basketball players to get to the corner against a trap. That's what they want you to do. They'll bait you right into it every time as the Senators nearly turn it over. It'll be tipped away, though, last touch by the Hawks with 4:36 to play. And Coach Smith and company looking for some offensive answers here in this first half. Down 20-6. They'll go to Smith back in the paint. He kicks to Zink. Quick 3 left side, well short. Rebound comes off, though, to Gavin Smith, who lost the handle. Turnover number 8 for West Washington. Feed down low from Christian Tucker as he tried to go down low to Ryan Tao. And Tao could not handle it. Last touch by the guys in blue. And now we'll have a stoppage of play as Mark Crispin will let Zink tie his shoe. Harrison Sanford will check back in. 20-6 your score. 4:17 to go second quarter. Gavin Smith who's given us a nice little lift off the bench. Just can't get anything from the field. He's had a couple of point-blank opportunities, couldn't finish. He'll get a quick breather and a word from assistant coach, JV coach Clayton Sullivan. Nice little crossover for Jackson Lane working against Jake Strange. Had to kick it out to Tucker, now to Carnes. Cole Cooper with it, far corner, lost it, bobbled it. Able to give it up, though, to the release. That was Tucker again, back out to Land. Again, Valley plays a lot of small ball as well. They got a relatively small roster. Ball on the floor. Senators come out of the scrum with it. Turnover number 4 for the Hawks, and now we'll have a foul as well against Valley. So a rare sight, the home team on the scoreboard leading the foul category at 6-0. So the next one will put the Senators in the bonus, as this one will go against Jackson Land, and that'll be his second personal of the afternoon.
Yeah, that's about the only thing that's going right for the Senators is the foul situation. It was nice that time to see.
Nice speed underneath. Jake Strange with a dime to Harrison Sanford, who drops it in the piggy bank. Harrison's got his first basket, and finally a field goal, coach. 20-8, and then a block down low for West Washington. So now we start to see signs of life. Zink thought about it, should have probably pulled the trigger. Nichols feeds down low to Strange, right back to Harrison Sanford, who gets hammered down low. And the Senators now starting to get into a little bit of a rhythm. 3:19 to play.
That's 2 possessions in a row that they found Jake right in the middle of the lane, and then he's found made a perfect pass down low. So that's Jake, a couple of nice possessions in a row there. And we're getting some deflections and steals on the defensive end. Holden had a couple deflections, and Mikey. So things are starting to turn. I mean, if you can go on just a little bit of a run in this last 3 minutes, then you're right back into the game.
We'll come back, and Harrison Sanford will be at the free throw line off the foul from Springs Valley. Coach Leitzman burns a full timeout. We'll step aside and take one as well. 20-8 your score. Senators trailing it.
This is Kelly, and this is my Walmart. This is Kate, and this is my Walmart.
This is Kevin, and this is my Walmart.
This is Alicia, and this is my Walmart. This is Jessica, and this is my Walmart.
We're all part of Walmart, and we're all part of the local community. Walmart has contributed hundreds and thousands of dollars to the Salem and Washington County community in the past year. We've raised money for Salem's flood victims, local fundraisers, and donated to local law enforcement, the Community Foundation, and many other civic and private groups in the county. We're here to serve you with our unbeatable service and quality products and everyday low prices. I'm Jeff Rampy, and this is Salem's Walmart.
After Christian Tucker whistled for his second personal of the day off the shot attempt from Harrison Sanford, he will be rewarded with a trip to the free throw line. Didn't have a chance to get it off as 2 Valley Blackhawks jumped on top of him. Harrison, though, to the free throw line. Knocks down the first, getting 3 on the afternoon, hits them both. So Harrison Sanford, a nice trip for him. 4 of 7 for 57%. So not a lot of shot attempts from the stripe for Harrison thus far, but makes the most of those 2 and cuts it to a 10-point deficit at 20-10.
Have to get it done. If you're going to make another run here, got away with a little travel there, you have to do it on the defensive end.
So the Senators have it cut to 10. See if they can get one more defensive stop. And ooh, late whistle. And Coach Smith tells his freshman point guard, Mr. Bousman, keep those arms straight up in the air.
That was one of those weird. It looks like he might have got a little bit of the ball with the block with the left hand, but the right hand got him right on the forearm.
Surprisingly enough, first foul of the afternoon at the 2:55 mark of the second quarter. That went on Holden. 21-10. As Trenton McElfresh steps to the line, 4 of 6 on the year for 67%. He averages 3.7 a game for Coach Leitzman off the bench. McElfresh knocks them both down. So he's got his first 2 of the afternoon. Back to a 12-point lead at 22-10. Sanford out there with Nichols, Bousman, Zink, and Strange. As the Hawks go back to work in the man-to-man. A lot of high ball pressure and a nice post entry feed, mid-post to Harrison Sanford, who had his man sealed. And this will be foul number 8 whistled against the Hawks in the half. And so the Senators go back to the free throw line. Harrison Sanford will get 2 more. Just hit 2. As McElfresh picks up his first of the day. That was short on the bonus attempt. That was on the floor, not in the act of shooting. So our first miss from the charity stripe. It hits our first 6, 2:34 and counting first half. 22-10. Hawks have led the entire way. They opened up with a 12-0 lead in this one. Nice move underneath, but a block by Holden on the help side defense against Ryan Tao. In the absence of Nick Mars, the point guard steps up. Holden will take 3 from the wing. That one in and out, no good. Rebound pulled down by Tao. And the Hawks right back at it. Quickly into the front court. Christian Tucker sends it out to Isaac Carnes. Now to Whitaker. He works against Strange. Tries the reverse layup. Left it short. Ryan Tao with the offensive rebound. Puts it back up and in. And Tao has his first of the day. Just like that, it's ballooned back to 14 at 24-10. Under 2 minutes to go.
Holden on the last possession had a nice open look, and he's just, it's been that kind of season so far for him. He's had open looks, and they go halfway down and come back at it. It's not like he's missing. It's just bad luck so far. He's been right on line. But Senators, they need a bucket here.
Nichols controls as he'll walk it back out between the circles, just above the volleyball spike line. Sends it back left wing now to Zink. He'll take a high screen from Strange, misses him on the slip. Harrison Sanford tries to find him, but throws it into the wrong jersey. And white jersey picks it off. Turnover number 9 of the half for West Washington. Senators struggling in their assist to turnover ratio at 9-14. The wrong end of the ratio to be on, as they've committed 103 turnovers on the year. Again, averaging 14.7 per game, minute 11 to go. Senator foul will be their second. This one's going to go on Harrison, maybe out of some frustration on that last possession with the turnover. Green and Gavin Smith check back in as the free throw is good by McElfresh. He's 3 for 3 on the day. Again, a 67% free throw shooter entering today's matchup. 25-10. Zach Carnes back into the ball game. Christian Tucker will get a breather. Cam Zink will have a seat with Jake Strange. And Cam's going to get some coaching from Coach Smith. Free throws up and good for McElfresh, so he's got 4, all from the charity stripe, and it is back to 16 at 26-10. Matching the largest lead of the day. Actually, the largest lead at 16. It's been 14 and a couple of times before that. Nichols tries to throw it back out of traffic. The Senators, again, just super still here, not looking to attack. And whenever you get that half-court zone pressure, Coach, you got to take your chances and got to get into the paint. And Harrison Sanford able to do so there. Give him 6. But when you get a team finally to come out of that half-court zone trap, it is so important to look to attack off the dribble drive, off those high ball screens. And right now, we're just so content just to pass it. It's almost like we've got a sigh of relief. Hey, they're not trapping us now. We just got a free passing lane on the perimeter, but you got to get the rock into the paint.
Yeah, you have to be aggressive. You have to make productive passes. And, you know, the most aggressive guys so far today have been our bigs. And I don't know if it's with Nick being out that they know that they have to pick it up a little bit, but Harrison's been really aggressive. Gavin.
Whitaker for 3 off the dribble drive. It won't go. And Nichols will catch it and throw it to the other end as time expires. But that's the way the first half will end, and the cookie certainly crumbling here for West Washington in this first 16 minutes of play as they'll go into the locker room trailing at 26-12 on the scoreboard here from Springs Valley High School. We'll step aside, take a break. We'll start crunching some numbers from this first half of action and come back to begin our Senator halftime report, brought to you by Eddie Gilstrap Motors, just south of the square in Salem, right after this word from a couple of our sponsors. You're listening to Senator Basketball today on WSLM, 1220 AM, 97.9 on the FM dial.
Police, I just hit a deer. Well, the deer actually hit me, right? But I need a wrecker for my truck. See, the whole front end is really smashed in. Now, the deer didn't make it, but it sure looks like a 12-pointer. Hey, I'd like to be towed to Eddie Gilstrap Motors Collision Center. Yeah, you know, the one at 1008 West Mulberry Street in Salem. Well, just the other day, Bill, my buddy, he had his Ford Mustang redone there, and it looks like it did back in 1965. Even better. Well, they accept most major insurances, and they work with you to get a rental and get you back on the road with genuine parts for your vehicle. Not like some body shops that make their repairs out of the local junkyard. Yeah, right. You know, let Paul know it's me and that the truck will be coming in. He's a great guy, and he knows the repair business like the back of his hand. The deer? Nah, he's not going to process that. Just the truck. Yeah, Eddie Gilstrap Motors Collision Center, or call Paul at 812-883-3481.
Channel Seedsmanship. It's about being in your fields, giving you expert advice, knowing your fields almost as well as you do, and selecting elite seed products to help maximize your profitability. When it comes to getting the most out of your acres and your operation, put your trust in a Channel Seedsman. For customized service, expert advice, and elite seed products, contact me, Brady Bishop, at 812-620-4624. Go Senators.
Since 1937, Eddie Gilstrap Motors has been proud to call Washington County home. As you cheer for your team tonight, we'd like to thank you for your business and continued support. Best wishes to the Lions, Senators, and Musketeers this season.
Back to begin our Senator halftime report, brought to you by Eddie Gilstrap Motors, just south of the square in Salem. Senators trailing it in pool play, their opening game of this 2007 holiday tourney here at Springs Valley High School, trailing it to their PLEC conference rival, the Springs Valley Blackhawks, 26-12 on the scoreboard. The Hawks go 8 deep into their rotation in that first half of play, and Coach Leitzman getting excellent contributions. In fact, 7 of the 8 players able to get into the scoring column in that first half of play. Zach Carnes, the lone player and lone starter to go scoreless in that first half of action. 7 from Christian Tucker, including a couple of 2-point makes and a 3-point field goal. 3 for Braden Whitaker off a 3-point make in the first quarter of action. Jackson Land chips in a 2-point field goal as well. And Ryan Tao chips in a 2-point field goal in the second quarter of play. Off the bench, Trenton McElfresh, Cole Cooper, and Isaac Carnes all play for Coach Leitzman. Carnes chips in 2. McElfresh with 4 all from the free throw line. He accounts for all free throws taken by the Hawks in the first 16 minutes of play. And Cole Cooper has 6 as well, all coming from 2-point range. So the Hawks go 4 of 4 from the charity stripe for a perfect 100%, and they commit 4 turnovers, 2 in each quarter, for the Hawks, who have 26 on the board here at the intermission. Meanwhile, for West Washington, not a lot to speak of, as they can't get anything going in rhythm offensively. We had a spurt for about 45 seconds, maybe a minute or so, where we looked good on back-to-back trips, but that was about it. Holton Bowsman, Cam Zink, Parker Green all start today, but have gone scoreless thus far. Mikey Nichols chips in a 2-point make. Harrison Sanford leads the way with 6, including 2 of 3 from the charity stripe and a couple of 2-point field goals. Gavin Smith and Caden Abels and Jake Strange all play off the bench this afternoon for Coach Smith. But again, Jake unable to tally as well. Had a couple of looks, couldn't get him to go down. Gavin Smith chips in 4 on 4 of 4 free throw shooting in the first half of play. It was, in fact, Gavin who scored first for us at the 1:16 mark of that first quarter of play. Senators nearly get skunked in the first quarter of action as they trailed at 14-4 after the first quarter of play and get outscored 12-8 in the second period, bringing us to this 26-12 halftime score. Senators do go 6 of 7 from the charity stripe for 86% in the first half of play. The problem is that half-court zone trap really giving the Senators fits, especially as they started to extend it above the volleyball spike line, squeezing them between the timeline and that spike line. Senators really struggled with that trapping pressure, and they give it up 9 times, but 5 of those 9 come in the second quarter of play. We'll step aside, take a break, get a word from another sponsor, and we'll come back. Coach Gibson will run down some of the team statistics for us here on our Senator Halftime Report, brought to you by Eddie Gilstrap Motors, just south of the square in Salem.
We're here at McDonald's Gymnasium for tonight's game. It's time to introduce the starting lineup. And the crowd is on their feet and they're going wild. And here comes the new players. We've got the quarter pounders coming in tonight alongside the chicken classic sandwiches. Playing forward tonight, we have got one-of-a-kind McWrap. Guarding your hunger, it looks like we've got McDouble and McChicken coming in. And starting in the center court tonight will be Big Mac. Look on the sidelines, folks. We have Chicken McNuggets cheering tonight alongside those golden delicious fries. Hot and always ready. You'll score points every time you bring the family into Salem McDonald's, right here on Main Street, before or after the game. Don't forget to top off your favorite meal with a cold soft drink, that famous Mickey D sweet tea, or something from their full line of smoothies and McCafe coffee drinks. Order inside to 11, or get that one-of-a-kind taste 24 hours at the drive-thru. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Welcome back to the Springs Valley Holiday Tournament, where the West Washington Senators trail the Valley Blackhawks 26-12. And with a 26-12 halftime score, you would think that the Valley Blackhawks probably dominate the stat columns too, and they do for the most part. There's a couple, like rebounding. The Valley Blackhawks hold an 11-9 edge, which isn't bad. And for the most part this year, the Senators have pretty much held their own on the boards. That hasn't really been a big problem for the Senators. Where there's a problem, Valley has 7 steals. So I think you end up saying are we in double-digit turnovers? So I think we're over double-digit turnovers. 7 of them steals. A few of those led to easy buckets on the other end. So we've got to get that turned around. But the biggest thing, and it's plagued the Senators all year, Valley 8 for 12 inside the arc for 53%, 2 for 7, which is about, that's not too bad. But overall, or 67% inside the arc. Overall, they shot 53%. The Senators basically shot 20% from the field. That's even counting 3 of 6 from inside the arc, which isn't bad. You only get 6 shots because you give up 7 steals. You don't get as many opportunities. Senators 0 for 8 behind the arc, and they just cannot get anything to fall this year so far from behind the arc. And honestly, coming in, I thought that might be one of the biggest strengths, and it may well end up being one of our strengths, in the second half of the year. But right now, it is just a struggle. We've talked about it many times so far through the first 7.5 games. It's not like they're bad looks. We just cannot get it to fall. Halfway down, around the rim. It's just one of those weird things that we just can't get going behind the arc. But 21% to their 53. I think that pretty much equals a 26-12 advantage for the Blackhawks. So it's not as poorly as I think we've played. Shooting, turning the ball over, it's just a 14-point lead. I mean, many teams have come back from 14 at halftime, so they shouldn't look at the scoreboard 26-12. That can start to get into your head. It's like, man, we can't score. Just battle back, eat possession by possession by possession. Just keep battling and see what happens.
Step aside, take a break. That'll do it for our Senator Halftime Report, brought to you by Eddie Gilstrap Motors, just south of the square in Salem. We'll come back with third quarter action right after this.
Caring people make the difference. You can feel it the minute you walk into Salem Crossing. Experts in long-term care, not just doing a job, but following a calling. They're here to help you and your family find answers and solutions and peace of mind. In fact, they become an extension of your family. For more information about Salem Crossing, visit ASCSSeniorCare.com or call 812-883-1877. That's 812-883-1877.
Back to begin the third quarter of play. Valley opens up with the rock and a 14-point lead, 26-12, coming out of the locker room as the Senators work the man-to-man in the half court. Both teams going back with their original starting five, as the Hawks will be very patient, deliberate, working with this large lead, not wanting to sacrifice any possessions and give the Senators any chance of hope. A half minute gone by in this third quarter of play. Dribble drive, nobody picking up Christian Tucker. He misses the layup. Senators come out there with it. Nice rebound and a nice chase down by Parker Green. So Senators get the stop they need. Now it's kind of like football, Coach. We always have that on our goal boards, get a stop and a score coming out of halftime. Let's see if the Senators can do that. Ball was tipped away, near turnover for West Washington.
Right, and it just sets the tone for the second half. It gets you feeling good. When you're feeling good, you play looser. You know, it's a way to set the tone.
Senators will reset. They throw it into the backcourt to Mikey Nichols, and he'll run it across the timeline now and leave it off to Zink. On the right side, pull-up jumper just inside the three-point line, way off the mark, no good. An ill-advised shot, and Coach Smith now will give his senior some instruction as to what he really wants in the half court. I don't think that was the shot he was looking for. 6:51 and counting, third quarter of play. 26-12. It's been at 14 a number of times. Largest lead was 16 in that first half at 26-10. Another high post feed off the little handoff. They're able to get it to Land, who kicks it to Christian Tucker, and he feeds it now to Whitaker on the wing, who misses from the left side from downtown. Harrison Sanford there to chase it down with Mikey Nichols. Just over a minute and a half gone by in the period. Holden has it now. Right side of the floor, takes a screen from Harrison. Falls to the floor, and Holden trying to hold on to it. He'll be tied up, though, as he tried to maintain possession. So 6:16 to go, third quarter. Be West Washington basketball off the alternating possession. Hawks will go with a 2-3 compressed zone look here as the Senators get it in safely. Bowsman thought about three, feeds a nice shot down low to Zink on the baseline. He couldn't do anything with it, gave it to Green, got it back and had it poked away, but a nice job of threading the needle by Bowsman to Zink. Just had him in a bad angle there underneath.
Right, and then another nice Zink on the other side. He's just got a little bit too low, and another poke away by Tucker, who's already got three this quarter.
Senators go back into the mid-post. Harrison Sanford uses his ability to get up off the floor and elevates over traffic to deliver his third field goal of the afternoon, give him 8 in all. 26-14. Senators got it down to 20-10. About midway through that second quarter of play before Valley went on a nice little 6-0 run. And the Senators just trying to battle and keep it within arm's length. You'd like to see him get it down to 8 or 10 to start the fourth quarter, but Ryan Tao able to come up with a huge field goal for the Hawks. Long two-point shot goes for him, make it 28-14. And now we'll have a foul out front. This one will go against Jackson Land. That's his third, team foul number 1 of the half.
Senators got real lucky there. I think after the score, the Blackhawks applied a little bit of pressure, and Mikey wasn't real strong with the ball. Fortunately for us, that Parker came up with the loose ball.
Gavin Smith checks back in for Coach Smith. Parker Green will take a seat beside Coach Myers and get some instruction. 5:16 and counting here, third quarter, 28-14. After Ryan Tao's big step-out jumper just inside the arc. Holden nowhere to go with it, sends it back across now to Zink, far side of the floor. They'll feed down low, but an errant pass tipped away. Zink with the rocket shot in the post to Sanford. Probably should have been a ball fake and a bounce pass. But the Senators able to maintain possession as Harrison goes up off the lob, kicks out. Holden, three ball, got it to go. Big three for Holden as he's got his first points of the afternoon. And just at the right time, cuts it to 11 at 28-17. Whitaker now, he'll drive left side, sends it across now on the baseline to kick out to Tucker to try to answer. His three won't go. Coming out there with it is Holden. Feeds it across now into the front court to Nichols, who gives it right back to Holden. Coming up on the halfway mark of this third quarter of play. Nichols takes a high screen. Don't necessarily need a three here, but we don't need a turnover either as the Senators nearly give it up. Nichols trying to
Yeah.
feed in traffic, but we're so impatient on
Right.
the wing.
There was an ill-advised pass. There's no way that was going to get in there. I mean, and that's been some struggles throughout the year. It just here we got a little momentum, and then you make a silly pass. But fortunately for us, we get the ball back.
On the kick out, Holden, same spot, same delivery. Bingo, baby. Holden with back-to-back threes. And life now finally into this offense for West Washington. They made it a 28-20 ball game. 30-second timeout for Coach Michael Leitzman at the 4:15 mark of this third quarter of play, as Holden Bausman has come to life from downtown. Same spot, same result. Bottom of the barrel for 2 in a row, as he's got 6 now in the ball game. And the Senators charging now 28-20 halfway through this third quarter of play. And while we have a moment, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Senator Basketball in the Springs Valley Tourney here on WSLM.
When you're listening to IU Sports, you need to be locked in on WSLM 97.9 FM, your home for IU Sports.
Back out of the timeout by Coach Leitzman. A 30-second timeout. Whittaker will take again left side, tries to feed to the corner once more to Christian Tucker, and this time the 3 ball will go. Give Tucker now 10 in the game, right up on his average of 11.3 as he creeps closer to that, make it 31-20. Zink tries to answer left wing, found him in the barrel. Now Zink getting into the scoring act. He's got his first points of the afternoon. Senators starting to show some signs here of good things in this third quarter as they force the first Valley turnover of the third quarter. 5 now in all for the Hawks, 9 for West Washington. Jake Strange will check back in. He gives Gavin Smith a break. So it's Nichols out there with Sanford, Bausman, Zink, and Jake fresh into the ball game. 3:36 and counting, 31-23. Nichols had it poked away from behind. Hawks come up with it. Turnover number 10 for West Washington as they'll give chase now defensively. Cole Cooper with the drive on the baseline. He throws it into the hands off the deflection right to the arms of Cam Zink, who comes up with the steal. Turnover number 6 for the Hawks. 31-23 again. Don't need to force the issue here. Just play solid basketball and keep it in single digits here as we wind down this third quarter of play. Zink out top, gives it off to Nichols, goes between the legs and gives it back to Holden as they go that 3-man weave out front.
Yeah, the Senators are shooting the ball with confidence the last few minutes, so there's no reason to get in a hurry, make ill-advised passes, run the offense, see what you come up with.
Zink, nice hesitation, had his shot blocked though by Tao in the paint. 2:42 and counting. 31-23, high post, Tao, free throw line, kicks out, 3 ball on the way. A dagger into the heart of the Senator defense as Christian Tucker hits back-to-back triples. Give him now 13 on the afternoon, and it's back to 11 at 34-23. Probably not the shot again we wanted on that last trip. And the Senators will take a full timeout with 2:24 to go. Coach Smith will spend a full timeout here. 34-23. We'll take a break, get a word in from a sponsor, and come back right after this.
Looking for your next new or used car? Then head on down and check out the deals at John Jones Auto Group in Salem, Corydon, Scottsburg, and Greenville. Whether you visit the lot and take a test drive or visit the virtual showroom online at johnjonesautogroup.com, you'll find the largest selection of GM cars in Kentuckiana. Whether it's a car, truck, or minivan, John Jones Auto Group has something that fits your style and your budget. Bad credit? No problem. We will find the financing that's right for you. At John Jones, we pride ourselves at finding the right deal for your situation. Call or visit today, 1-800-473-5546, or go online at johnjonesautogroup.com and check us out on Facebook and Twitter too. John Jones Auto Group, the largest dealer in southern Indiana, serving Salem, Corydon, Scottsburg, Greenville. You see so many because they paid so little.
2:24 to play. Third quarter of action from Springs Valley High School. Senators trailing at 34-23. They got it down to 8 at 28-20 a few moments ago, but Valley answered with a couple of three-pointers, and Mikey Nichols with the turnover. That's number 11 on West Washington for the afternoon. Nichols will have a seat after the costly turnover, and that'll bring Parker Green back into the lineup. So Green out there with Bowsman. Abel's back into the ballgame as well. Jake Strange and Harrison Sanford, junior, sophomore, and three freshmen. The future of Senator basketball on the floor right now. 2-minute warning, third quarter. Christian Tucker again. Unconscious. That's three straight triples for Tucker. And 37-23 our score now. Senators back into a bit of trouble as Abel's controls on the left side. Little crossover, nowhere to go. Feeds it high post to Strange in the corner. Green, nice drive right side. He'll be fouled from behind. Coach Lee, not with the officiating or the call there. Officiating was good on that. End of things. He's upset because he's outside defense and his guy's not sliding over.
It's nice to see Parker get more aggressive offensively. I think that was his first shot attempt. So, I mean, it's more, I think the offense is more fluid when Parker's in there when he's aggressive. But on the defensive end, we got to find Tucker. I know we've done a great job of calling some bigger, but I think that was 18. Is that 18 for Tucker? He is just 16. He is just going to dagger for us.
Parker goes 1 of 2 at the free throw line. 88% free throw shooter, but he only muster 1 of 2. 37-24 ball put away. High hold. The Hawks able to save it, and then foul whistle for a travel. Turnover number 7 for the Hawks. So a minute 29 to go. Senators certainly still in this, but again, gotta try to chip away. They always want to be at least 8 to 10 point deficit range going into the fourth.
Yeah, if you can cut it in low double digits, they have to feel great now in between the quarter huddle.
And as Harrison Sanford on the sip across, he was wide open on the block. Senators turn it over for the 12th time this afternoon. That'll lead to a wide open layup by Ryan Cal. He has 6-9 ball game. 39-24 in a bit of trouble for the Senators.
And it's a turnover factor when the Senators got a thin game, and we've turned it over 3 or 4 times since then. You can't do that against an experienced team like Valley.
And they find Strange in the paint. He misses. Rebound comes off to Parker Green. Bobbled it. Tried to force feed it back to Strange. And turnover number 14 on the afternoon. Nichols will check back in. Hawks give it up for the full time and a half. Now 8 in the ball game. Maggie at the station. Got to report that we are listeners having some audio problems, so I'm not sure if that's tied into the headset line or the live stream feed. I don't know what is being caused by, but you can let us know what's going on at the station if you're having trouble listening. And here it is, tells us who's watching the live stream, and it's the live stream, so see if we can get that fixed for you as the Senators come try again. 39-24, 15 points. Senator deficit as we roll down final seconds of this third quarter. Drive, kick, 3, and landing. This time expires. That will have to be waved off, and we'll roll into the fourth quarter of play with the Senators trailing at 39-24. Got a lot of work to do in a short period of time as we roll into the final frame of regulation. We'll step aside and take a break or a word from the sponsor, and we'll come back with more right after this.
It's time to introduce the starting lineup, and the crowd is already wild. Here comes the new player. We've got the former rounders coming in tonight, alongside the seated classic sandwiches. Playing forward tonight, we've got one behind the crowd. Running behind
Hawks Nest Senators trailing at 39-24, and they start things out on the defensive side of the ball. And to start hitting nice big out and chipping away here soon, 20 seconds in. And a dribble drive, count it, and one for Jackson Land from the right side of the floor. Good time for his second basket of the day. Chance for an old-fashioned three-point play. 41-24 now. 17-point advantage. Largest of the day for the Hawks. As things start to spiral out of control here just a little bit. And Jackson Land able to capitalize on the old-fashioned three-point play, giving him 5 in the afternoon. 42-24. Half minute gone by here in the fourth.
I'm not too sure we've put one in the basket since we cut it to 8.
Holding a nice little run off the glass, got it to go. He's got 8 on the afternoon. Making now 42-26. And we'll have a whistle and a foul in the backcourt. That one on hold, taking a little bit of a gamble.
And that's probably a good idea. I mean, the Senators should be in really good shape foul-wise.
Only 2,000 each.
And, I mean, totally game. Everybody should start at 30.
That's only
That should be in pretty good shape. So, I mean, guys, I mean, it's a 16-point lead. He even has to go for some steals. They've been in the lane for 19 seconds.
And hot whistle as Ray Whitaker gets a nice little move with the ball underneath, giving him 5 now in the ball game. 44-26. Second 18-point lead of the day. And in the paint. Nice little shot from Holton. He's going to go right here in the second half. He's got 10.
That was a beautiful move.
44-28. Jackson Lamb with a nice ball fake, cutting Cole Hoover into the paint. Couldn't get the runner to go, but he's home. And it gets out to Zach Barnes. Back to Whitaker. 3 ball off mark, no good. Nice rebound by Kate Ables. And Jackson Lamb goes over the back. Team foul. Number 3 for the Hawks. And then one more. That's Lance. 16 for West Washington. And Isaac Barnes will check back in the ball game. And a half on by in the fourth.
Well, we were just... Like I said, those runs have really been forward and outside over the last couple of weeks. And we played really well. And it was, boy, they did a little run of throw. We couldn't get it stopped.
But really going back to the bread and butter that got the Senators in trouble, and that forces a fifth turnover in the half. 14th of the game. The Hawks can't capitalize as the Senators get it right back. Here in the fourth, Cole Cooper underneath to McElfresh. His shot blocked by Strange and Sanford. Strange goes straight up again, but somehow McElfresh gets the friendly roll. His first field goal of the day. He's got 6, and it's 46-28, largest lead of the day. Gavin Smith will check back in next dead ball, as well as Isaac Carnes gives chase out top of that 1-3-1, and Zink throws it away. Another Senator turnover. That's about 4 in a row now, it seems like, for the Senators, as Strange and Zink will check out. 5:03 to go.
I think at some point you probably keep it over there, but was it 32? What was 24? I forget. We were down 8 at one point.
Yeah, it was
and
28-20 at one point.
Yeah,
early in the
28-20.
third, after Holden hit those back-to-back threes.
just
Rebounding foul underneath. Holden hits the deck, had a nice block out. Yeah, it was 28-20.
20. That's right, 28-20. So it's just been a struggle. I mean, it's just like pushing the stone uphill. I mean, since then it's just, but it's of our own making. I mean, just silly passes, just unforced errors. I mean, we were playing real well. We can't get out of our own way sometimes.
It's an 18-8 run, Coach, that feels like a 38-8 run.
Right, exactly. That's what I was
Another
surprised
turnover.
when you said that. It was only 16-8 because you're right. You are
18-8.
18-8. It did. It seemed like 38-8. I mean, it's just, and you could tell with the kids too. It felt like that to them too, because that emotion that they were playing with for a few minutes there, it just was sapped.
Senators' assist to turnover ratio already suffering on the year, and it's getting worse here today. 9 turnovers in this half, 9 in the first half for a total of 18. Holden, deep three! Hit that one almost from Jasper. As Holden's got his 3rd triple of the afternoon. A little too late though, 46-31. Wild shot for Whitaker, won't go. Rebound comes off to Abels. He pushes in transition to Holden, who stops, and he'll be whistled for the travel. Coach says just go ahead and take it up in traffic. If you get fouled, you get fouled. So that is now 10 turnovers in the second half, 19 in all for West Washington with 3:54 to play in this 4th quarter of action, 46-31.
On a bright spot, it doesn't look like Holden has too many lingering effects from the being out for 2 games. So he's actually come alive here in the second half.
Shot missed again for the Hawks. So the Senators a chance to dig in just a little bit deeper as Harrison will take it up, goes off glass with a little smooch off the window. Harrison gets into double figures now with 10, and it's 46-33. We'll have a timeout on the floor. Looks like it's going to be a 30-second timeout called by Coach Smith here to rally the troops a little bit. 3:36 to play while we have a second. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification.
When you're listening to IU Sports, you need to be locked in on WSLM 97.9 FM, your home for IU Sports.
3:36 to go in the 4th quarter. A 13-point game at 46-33. And for those of you that are able to join us on the AM side, most nights you're able to catch us also on the FM. Becky did send us a text, told us that she was listening from home. AM and FM sounded good, but just got another report that some viewers at home on the live stream said it sounds like aliens. So I don't know, I guess maybe for most nights maybe that's a compliment for us that we sound like aliens. I'm not sure. So if you're listening on the live stream, you might just want to turn down the volume, watch it on the live stream feed, and then listen to the radio. 3.5 minutes to go. Senators come up with a steal. Valley turnover. That's their 9th now of the day. Good pressure for West Washington, and they'll get possession as foul will go on Cole Cooper.
We can blame all of it on the weather too.
I guess so. Holding another 3 left side. This one won't go. Nice offensive rebound for Gavin Smith. Kicks it out to Holden. Thought about 3. Stops. Little one-hand floater just inside the free throw lane will go. So Holden, the big quarter. He's got 9 alone in the period. Makes it now 46-35. 3:13 and counting. Senators with a never say die attitude. And that's one thing, that you could see the distress on their faces. Ooh. Larry Abbott with the quick whistle. Looked like Abels may have got a clean block from behind, but roll the dice anytime you try to swat one on the run like that from behind, as Abels will pick up his first of the day. Team foul number 4, and with 3:06 to play, that'll send the Hawks to the line. Christian Tucker, first one is up and good, and one of the leading scorers on his team. The junior averages 11.4, and he's a 73% free throw shooter. First free throw attempts of the day.
Yeah, he's definitely done the job for the Blackhawks today. He's been a nice player for them.
He's got 18 on the afternoon to kind of lead the Valley charge. 48-35, 3 minutes to go. Holden takes it right side, nowhere to go on the baseline. Nice feed underneath to Harrison Sanford, who elevates again and goes off glass for 2 more. He's got 12, trying to keep pace with Tucker across the way for Valley. 48-37, 2:45. Senators have got to continue to apply some pressure, maybe look at a little run and jump situation here. Again, you've got some fouls to give up. Might as well go ahead and take some gambles defensively. If you use them up, then you start to buckle it down a little bit more when they get close to bonus basketball. Tao spins, maybe got away with the drag of the pivot foot.
Yeah, we need to start being a little bit more aggressive because they're running some time off the clock right now.
Carnes dribbles out of trouble, gives it up to Land and gets it right back, rolling up on the 2-minute warning. And now we'll see a little run and jump action. They'll get a dangerous pass in the middle of that 2-1-2 half-court zone offense to Tao, who kicked it back out. And now Abels will give up the foul, his second, team foul number 5.
Actually, we need to start fouling if with 2 minutes to go if we're going to start putting them on the line.
Coach Leitzman will call for a little sideline stack, traditional look here on a sidelines out of bounds. They'll throw it into Carnes in the backcourt. He'll be picked up by Abels as Coach Smith implores his team to pick it up with the pressure out front.
Yeah, be ultra aggressive. Go for the steals, and if it's a foul, that helps us too.
They'll double out front again as they kick it to Carnes. Senators, though, you could tell with some tired legs after 12 days off, they force a travel. Coach Leitzman, one of the few calls he's disagreed with today by Larry Abbott. Be turnover number 6 in the half, 10 now in the game. And Coach Leitzman will talk to Kevin Chrisman and try to get a little bit friendlier whistle next trip down. Minute 37 and counting. Trying to feed it out to Holden. Abels with the turnover.
Ooh, I don't know.
Nice
Holden didn't agree with that one.
No.
He's such a heady player. I'd almost have to go with Holden on that one. I think he might have blown that whistle just a little bit too quick.
The foul's going to go on Holden. That'll be his third, team foul number 6. Cole Cooper will go to the line. And they're going to say that was on the shot attempt, even though he really stripped it more or less at ground level. 48-37, and I'm going back to that last possession. You know, if you're Abels and you're able to blow by your defender, why try to roll that back out? You might as well just go ahead, try to get a little floater, as Cooper's able to hit 1 of 2. Makes it now 49-37. Senators going to need a few quick baskets and then start the hack-a-shack movement as Parker falls to the floor, tries to feed down low on a release to Gavin Smith. It got shoved off the block. Senators will maintain possession. Minute 21 to play. Box set for the Senators. Holden will take a high screen from Gavin Smith. They'll go to the roll man. That was Harrison Sanford. Back to Green to Holden. He'll step back. 3 ball blocked by Ryan Tao. And then Harrison will give up the foul in the backcourt. This will be team foul number 7. So we'll walk to the other end. And for Harrison Sanford, that'll be his 3rd personal.
I want to go back to, go ahead.
No, I was going to say check that, but it is against Harrison.
You know, I don't know what the largest lead was. It was 18. It's either 16 or 18. But you were getting ready, before we went to break, you were getting ready to say one thing that this team does, and at least they've shown tonight and through most of the games, is they've really fought in the second half.
They have kudos to them for not giving up. Again, you could see the strain on their face in that first half. You could see the frustration, but they stuck with it. They stayed the course, and at least, I mean, this could have got bad because it did get up to 44-26 at one juncture. Could have been a lot worse, but they've made it very interesting and respectable down the stretch.
And I think it's going to come back down to, and Coach Smith has been preaching of poise, decision-making, shot selection. You know, all 3 of those things have hurt us in the second half when we were trying to make a run.
Jump ball as Ryan Tao battled Mikey Nichols for that rebound, and it will go to the Hawks off the alternating possession with minute 3 to play. Christian Tucker hit those 2 free throws on the last trip down, giving him 20 now on the afternoon. Breaking pressure, Zach Carnes, who's been super quiet today. Actually, he's went scoreless thus far. 50 seconds to play. Senators just giving chase now, trailing it by 14. Again, deciding not to pack it in just yet, at least offering some token pressure and making Valley work for any and everything. Senators, though, that's just been the life of this team today. Can't come up with any plays. We had the poke away, couldn't come up with the possession, and now we'll give up another foul. This will be team foul number 8. And this will be the third one on Mr. Abel. So 31 seconds to play. We'll go back to the free throw line for the Hawks. And another free throw attempt by Christian Tucker, who's now 5 for 5 on the afternoon, and he's had a monster day. He's got 21, looking for number 22. And he's got it. So 22 on the day. The Hawks MVP by far. Tucker been a mainstay offensively. As
What
the
a play.
Senators,
That's a nice play.
Senators turn it over. I know it was a hustle play,
Yeah,
but again,
you can't do that.
when
Yeah.
you catch that low, go up with the ball.
Right.
Why are we throwing it out into traffic? 20 seconds to play. We've got a stoppage of play here.
Yeah.
Confusion. And I think Larry Abbott thought that there was a timeout. And now they will call it. I think they actually, Larry Abbott come over and signaled a full timeout for Valley. Maybe he thought they were in a little bit of trouble there. I'm not for sure, but nonetheless, they won't take the timeout. 20 seconds to play, 53-37. And the Senators will hope at best to get a split in pool play. They're in the same pool with Valley and New Wash, the team that knocked them out of the regional last year up at Jack Butcher Arena. As we have another foul, and Coach Smith yet to call off the Dogs with 13.6. Chase Farmer will check in for his first minutes of the day. Holden Bousman will check out, and that'll be all she wrote for the freshman floor general, but it sure is good to see him back on the floor, and good to see Cam back out there as well, trying to get healthy after some scary shots to the head for both of them. To the free throw line, miss for Carnes. He'll stay scoreless on the day. Senators will turn it over one more time, and instead of taking it coast to coast, Christian Tucker will do the classy thing. Sometimes you don't always see that out of high school kids, but he'll pull it out, and the Hawks will wrap up a 53-37 win. And now in the all-time series, Coach, this was meeting number 67 between these two schools, dating back to January 17th of 1964. Valley now leads the all-time series 40-27, breaking a 5-game losing streak. Senators had won 5 straight, and of course had won this tournament back-to-back years with that loaded senior class from last year. Is able to repeat as champs, but that won't be the case with the Senators as they fall to the Hawks here 53-37, but they'll be back in action, and we'll talk about that a little later on in the postgame. They'll be back in action not tonight, but tomorrow, as they will play a noon game against the Mustangs, looking for some retribution from that regional loss at Jack Butcher Arena this past spring. So 53-37, again, the final. We'll step aside, take a break here from a couple of sponsors as always, and we'll come back to begin our post-game show festivities brought to you by the good folks at Ace Hardware of Salem. Senators fall here today to the Hawks. We'll come back with that post-game show right after this word.
Yeah, hello, police. Yeah, I just hit a deer. Well, the deer actually hit me, right? But I need a wrecker for my truck. See, the whole front end is really smashed in. Now, the deer didn't make it, but it sure looks like a 12-pointer. Hey, I'd like to be towed to Eddie Gilstrap Motors Collision Center. Yeah, you know, the one at 1008 West Mulberry Street in Salem. Well, just the other day, Bill, my buddy, he had his Ford Mustang redone there, and it looks like it did back in 1965. Even better. Well, they accept most major insurances, and they work with you to get a rental and get you back on the road with genuine parts for your vehicle. Not like some body shops that make their repairs out of the local junkyard. Yeah, right. You know, let Paul know it's me and that the truck will be coming in. He's a great guy, and he knows the repair business like the back of his hand. The deer? Nah, he's not going to process that. Just the truck. Yeah, Eddie Gilstrap Motors Collision Center, or call Paul at 812-883-3481.
Channel seamanship. It's about being in your fields, giving you expert advice, knowing your fields almost as well as you do, and selecting elite seed products to help maximize your profitability. When it comes to getting the most out of your acres and your operation, put your trust in a Channel Seedsman. For customized service, expert advice, and elite seed products, contact me, Brady Bishop, at 812-620-4624. Go Senators.
Since 1937, Eddie Gilstrap Motors has been proud to call Washington County home. As you cheer for your team tonight, we'd like to thank you for your business and continued support. Best wishes to the Lions, Senators, and Musketeers this season.
Senators fall today here to the Springs Valley Blackhawks, the host of this 2017 holiday tournament. And if that don't bring a smile to your face, I don't know what will, as Clark Nance gets a hug from Mama Nance down in front of us here. Perhaps a little tired. He may struggle a little bit coming back and hitting the books in my room here in a few days.
Yeah, they had a little football manager and party, and Holden joined them. He's not a manager anymore. Holden's an actual player, but they let him enjoy the fun too.
I think he's always will be an honorary member of that manager's team. Yeah. Senators fall, though, here today. Like I said, 53-37 is your final, a game where the Senators just really struggled rhythm-wise to get anything going. They actually struggled out of the gate. They fell behind early, 12-0, and it was just an uphill climb all day long for this Senator ball club, but they again did show signs of life. And you look at a guy like Holden, who maybe wanted to try to get back into a rhythm more so with these passing and trying to distribute the ball and everything a little bit more in the first half of play. Went scoreless, but then a monster second half. He had 15, and certainly that's what we'll need out of Holden as we roll into the turn of the calendar. In 2018, we'll need him to be huge for us down the stretch and as we roll toward tournament play. But here today, this one belongs to the host Blackhawks, as again Michael Leitzman's club snaps a 5-game losing streak to West Washington, and they take a 40-27 lead in the overall series between these two ball clubs, again dating back to January 17th of 1964, if you can believe that or not. Here today, let's run down the scoring. First for the victorious Springs Valley Blackhawks, who now go to 7-1 on the year. This is a non-conference meeting, of course. They'll play later on in the month of January for the conference as far as the standings go. So Valley stays 3-0, of course, in conference play with wins over Mitchell, Orleans, and Perry already in the books. Today they get 22 points from Christian Tucker. What a monster effort as he's able to double his 11.4 per game scoring average on the season thus far. 5 apiece for Braden Whitaker and Jackson Land, and 6 for Ryan Tao. Zach Karn started but was unable to tally in this one. Very quiet day for their floor general as far as the Blackhawks offense is concerned. Trent McElfresh, Cole Cooper, and Isaac Carnes all contribute good minutes off the bench for Coach Leitzman as well. Carnes chips in 2, but he was 0 of 2 from the free throw line. Cole Cooper, 7 points on the day, including 1 of 2 from the charity stripe as well. Trenton McElfresh chips in 6 on 4 of 4 free throw shooting and a 2-point field goal to his credit. 53 points total on the board. How about this? Hawks taking care of business. Little TCB at the free throw line, Coach. 12 of 16 for 75%, including 4 of 4 in that first half of play, and they give it up just 10 times in all in this one. Just 4 in that first half, where it was really critical for them as they were able to go on a couple of nice scoring runs and pad their lead in that first 16 minutes of play. Meanwhile, for West Washington, they'll now slip to 2-6 on the year, their 5th straight loss, and back to the drawing board, but on a short turnaround again, as the Senators will be right back here tomorrow afternoon at the Hawks Nest for more pool play. They get a big effort today by 2 guys. Holden Bousman saves the best for last as he goes scoreless in the first half, but chips in 15 second half points, including 3 big shots from downtown. and 3 makes from 2-point range. 12 points for Harrison Sanford in the start for senior Nick Mars, who's at home sick. And again, Nick, if you're at home listening, we wish you all the best, buddy. Get well. We need you back as soon as possible. Stay hydrated. Cam Zink, Parker Green, Mikey Nichols also start today for Coach Smith. Zink chips in 3. Parker with just 1 on 1 of 2 free throw shooting. Not a real aggressive day for him from the field. Mikey Nichols chips in 2 as well. Jake Strange, Caden Abels, as well as Chase Farmer and Gavin Smith all play off the bench. Gavin Smith chips in 4 of 4 free throws for his 4-point total on the afternoon. Farmer goes scoreless in this one, as well as Abels and Strange, who are also unable to tally. 37 points in all for West Washington. They shoot 9 of 7 7 of 9, getting ahead of myself, from the free throw line. 7 of 9 for 78% on the afternoon. But the real big bugaboo, again, are the turnovers, something we are going to have to fix, and in a hurry. 13 in the second half alone, 22, a season high for them today here at the Hawks Nest. So 22 giveaways equal a lot of missed opportunities at the offensive end, and that shows with just a 37-point effort. Again, the Senators came in averaging just 32 points a game over their last 2 in the midst of this now 5-game slide. Senators were outscored 14-4 after the first quarter of play. Of course, again, Valley jumps out to the 12-0 lead before Gavin Smith stopped the bleeding at the 1:16 mark of the first with those 2 free throws. They get outscored 12-8 in the second quarter, driving it to a 26-12 advantage at the half. Then the Hawks come out, they play a little bit more conservative defensively, and that allows the Senators to pull a little bit closer. In fact, they got it down to 8 at one juncture at 28-20, but then it was an 18-8 spark by the Hawks to get them back to where they were comfortable being in a big lead, as they drove it up to an 18-point lead at one point at 44-26. They outscore the Senators 13-12 in that third period. They outscore them by 1 again in the fourth at 14-13, and that's the way the cookie crumbles for the Senators, losing now 5 straight, falling 53-37. We'll step aside, take a break, get in a word from another one of our sponsors, and we will come back with more team statistics from Coach Gibson right after this. You're listening to coverage of the Senators in the 2017 Springs Valley Holiday Tournament on WSLM.
Just in time for the holidays at John Jones GM City in Salem, get GM employee pricing on our most popular Chevy models. You pay what we pay, not 1 cent more. Use your employee discount and save over $11,000 on select Chevy Silverados. Put a bow on that. Drive a brand new Chevy Spark, automatic, backup camera, touchscreen sound system, built-in Wi-Fi, lots more. Just $12,137 while they last. You can also browse through a variety of really nice local trade-ins, many priced around $5,000. GM employee pricing for you right now at John Jones GM City. Stop by 1450 Highway 60, Salem, Indiana. Call 800-I-SELL-GM or visit us online anytime at johnjonesautogroup.com.
Back to resume our post-game show here from the Hawks Nest in French Lick. Senators fall 53-37 in their first game of pool play. Again, they are in the same pool as Springs Valley, the host, and New Washington, so they will still have a game with the Mustangs left on the slate before that determines where they will fall in terms of tomorrow night's games, whether it be the third place game, the championship. Of course, that looks like that's out of contention unless something crazy would have to happen with point differential on a split. But I'll tell you what, this Hawks team looks poised, Coach. And as you heard Coach Smith say in the pregame when we were discussing, the Springs Valley team, they're at a different stage in the process. They're a team that's a little more seasoned, kind of like Paoli, who's taken the floor to play Shoals in this next game. But a team that is reaping the benefits of having a lot of juniors and seniors with a lot of valuable minutes under their belt right now.
Yeah, exactly, and it showed. I mean, the Senators made 2 different runs, and a more inexperienced group might have crumbled a little bit, but the experience for the Blackhawks paid off because they were able to answer those runs. Kind of like what we talked about when somebody goes on a run against us, we have to be able to answer. And that will come with more experience and, older group, a year older or whatever, but more experience players are able to say, okay, that's enough of that. Let's stop the bleeding, get back to maybe they've lost focus just for a few possessions, but I think that was definitely the case. The more experienced team definitely knew how to win that battle today.
I'm going to go ahead and run down some
Sure,
team
sure.
statistics while we're still waiting on Coach Smith.
You already went through the free throws, 75% for them, 78% for us. But shooting-wise, and, the second half we shot much better. We were at 9 of 17 total inside the arc for 53%, 4 of 15 behind the arc. But that sounds bad, but we started off 0 for 8. In the second half we went 4 for 7 from behind the arc. So we went 27% from behind the arc, 13 of 32 total for 41%. Not bad. We need to get that up a little bit more, but and we started shooting better as the game went on. So maybe we were still knocking off a little bit of holiday rust. For them, it was 13 for 23 inside for 57%, 5 of 14 for 36% behind for a total of 49%. So, shooting-wise, we shot a lot better in the second half. So, maybe, like I said, maybe it was just a situation where we were a little rusty coming in. Rebounding-wise, I had us for actually we out-rebounded them. So, and I said that at halftime too. For the most part, we battle on the boards. Our guards definitely we rebound well with our guards, and so we do battle on the boards. We out-rebounded them 20-16, 4 offense for us, 5 offense for them. Assists 9-8 for the Blackhawks. The big thing was turnovers. They had 16 steals, so to our 8. So you talked about 22 turnovers. That was probably the biggest thing. Nichols led us with 5 rebounds. Green and Gavin Smith with 4. Holden had 3 assists, 3 steals for Nichols. So I think Holden really filled up the stat sheet with his point total: 2 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, 4 deflections, and 2 blocks. So Holden had a nice game off of injury.
We're going to step aside, take a break. That's the statistical rundown of this Senator loss here today, 53-37 the final. We'll step aside, get in a word from another sponsor. We'll come back with more of our post-game show. We'll be joined by Senator head coach Sean Smith after this break. You're listening to Senator Basketball on WSLM 1220 AM and 97.9 on the FM dial.
This is Kevin, and this is my Walmart.
This is Alicia, and this is my Walmart. This is Jessica, and this is my Walmart.
We're all part of Walmart, and we're all part of the local community. Walmart has contributed hundreds and thousands of dollars to the Salem and Washington County community in the past year. We've raised money for Salem's flood victims, local fundraisers, and donated to local law enforcement, the Community Foundation, and many other civic and private groups in the county. We're here to serve you with our unbeatable service and quality products and everyday low prices. I'm Jeff Rampy, and this is Salem's Walmart.
Senators fall on a tough one to their longtime PLAC rival, the Springs Valley Blackhawks, here in the Hawks Nest this afternoon, but it wasn't for a lack of effort as the Senators managed to keep battling, as Coach Gibson and I talked about early on in the broadcast, despite getting down 12-0 early on. And we're joined now by Coach Sean Smith. And Coach, it just seemed like a lid was on that basket for the longest time there in that first quarter. We had some looks inside, had a couple of perimeter looks, just wouldn't go down. But I thought the boys showed the toughness and the potential for grit. We've talked about that a lot, it seems like, in our post-game and pre-game conversations, because you get down 12-0 early, on a team's home floor in their own tournament, you could fold up the tents, and I didn't feel like our boys was ready to quite fold it in today.
Yeah, I mean they stayed in it and kept battling. I still feel like we just came out and initially played really scared, timid. We were missing those shots because we were we were, timid, passive, whatever word you want to use for it. And that's the thing. I mean, we talk about being patient, but that doesn't mean that you're not aggressive. And I think we're having a hard time understanding that. And some of it was their 1-3-1. I mean, they were aggressive in it, and we didn't handle it very well. And that's something that again, we got to get better at. We got to get better at attacking 1-3-1s and things like that. And I think that once we learn how to do that, it's going to be good. We're going to want people to do that type of thing to us, because we do have some kids that can handle, and we do have some kids that can shoot. We have some kids that can pass, but it's a matter of getting in the right spots. It's not allowing yourself to be trapped so easy. We sometimes wouldn't put ourselves in position where we could attack it, and we got stuck and got trapped, and it led to turnovers or missed opportunities. So again, we got to get better at that stuff, and we can't. We got to take these experiences and learn from them and improve. It's just that simple.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned that 1-3-1, and early on it was Ryan Tao who come out with his length, and I thought really kept pressing us back toward the timeline and didn't really allow us to really truly get into the offense. And Coach Gibson, and you may disagree or agree with this, but one of our keys to victory was to put the fast break, try to get out off of misses, try to score some in transition in case that happened, and they were able to apply some half-court trapping pressure. But again, they come out able to knock down a few shots. We wasn't able to really get into our fast break either.
Yeah, I mean, we did there a little bit later.
Yeah.
But, it's one thing trying to pick up the speed of the game. You got to score to get in your press.
Sure.
And you got to get stops. And, of course, we get a rebound, and they kind of hang around and use their length against us. We didn't get it and just go with it. And but, yeah, I mean, any chance you get, you want to get out and run. That's for sure. But we just, again, we just didn't really take advantage of it a whole lot, and never really could get in a flow. Every time it seems like we'd battle and get it down to like 8, 10, and something good be happening. They'd hit a shot, to their credit. They'd step up and hit a shot, and or we'd throw the ball away or do something like that when we were having opportunity to chip away at it. But that's the thing. We can't come out and get ourselves in a big hole. We don't have the offensive firepower at the moment to do that. As guys develop, we'll be able to come back from those things. But it's just tough, and especially we got some guys not looking to shoot that need to shoot. And I don't know if it's just while we're gun shy, but guys need to look for their shots and be aggressive. We had some opportunities where we had guys who are good shooters, and we went to score looking, and they're looking to pass and turn the ball over.
Yeah, Coach Gibson made a comment there late in the game. We had that drive on the right baseline by Parker where he got fouled on the shot attempt, and he thought maybe that was one, or if not his first shot attempt of the afternoon. That's one of the guys. But a bright spot, I guess, another silver lining here in this loss. You did get Holden finally into a little bit of an offensive rhythm. He chips in 15 all in the second half, and a guy like Harrison Sanford, I thought, stepped up and played some pretty good basketball in the absence of Nick today.
Yeah, Harrison had a great game. It's the best game he's played, so far, I think, this year. And he came to play, and I thought Holden came to play.
Yeah.
They were being aggressive, and they didn't come off the floor because they were being aggressive.
Right.
Did they make some mistakes here and there? Sure, but they were being aggressive, and that's, we need 5 guys who are going to come out and compete and be aggressive. And right now, it's very inconsistent, from game to game, and it can't be that. It can't be inconsistent from game to game. It can't be inconsistent from play to play. You got to compete every play, and we're just we're struggling with that, the consistency factor. And right now, a lot of it's mental, and we can't hang our heads and feel sorry for ourselves because we got to play 2 tomorrow, and we have opportunity tomorrow, and we got to be ready for that.
Coach, we'll talk to you prior to the tip tomorrow against New Washington, but again, appreciative of your time as always after the game, and we'll talk to you prior to the tip with the Mustangs.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Coach Sean Smith joins us here on our Senator post-game show, brought to you by Ace Hardware in Salem. The Senators fall in a tough one here today, but again, continue to battle and continue to try to chip away. Again, getting it down to 8 at one point there midway through the third quarter, but just really couldn't muster much offensively. And every time, again, we saw signs of life kind of be brought back into us a little bit. It just seemed like there was a big play or a big shot, mostly, on the part of Christian Tucker, who hit 3 straight triples. And every time we got that sign of hope, he was the guy that come in with the big cloud full of raindrops and just let it burst wide open on us and kind of drowned out any opportunities that we had to kind of get back into this one. But as Coach said, no time to pout because you got to turn around now on a very quick turnaround and play a New Washington team that I'm sure building a little bit of confidence. 2 very different teams in the makeup. Of course, both teams losing a lot from those regional appearances last year, but I'm sure that there's a lot of positives that can be taken away and some bright spots that we can look at and try to build off of going into that game with a struggling New Washington team.
Absolutely, and you're talking. Hopefully, that second half. There were stretches where we just, and it was all mental. I mean, it was pass selection, shot selection, but we shot better. We battled on the board. I thought we played even though they hit some threes. Tucker kind of hit some threes on us and got to the line, but I actually thought we played better defensively in the second half as well. So I mean, hopefully that'll carry over. I mean, New Washington's going to want to battle. I don't know if they've won yet or not, maybe one game, or have they? I think it's one game, so they're going to be hungry for a victory. But hopefully, like I said, the second half will propel us to a nice game tomorrow at noon. But, we're so young. It's just, you can't say, well, this is going to carry over or that's going to carry over because you just never know. So but I think with this group, like I said, consistency. We talked about it in the fourth quarter. You can't be making a run and then all of a sudden throw the ball away 4 times. I mean, that's just not a recipe for victories. So we have to be smarter with the ball. We have to be stronger with the ball. We made some soft passes, against an experienced team. Maybe those work. A few more work tomorrow against an inexperienced team. But if we want to start beating experienced teams, good teams, which if we're going to want to finish in the top of the conference, if we're going to win sectional, I mean, we're going to play some experienced teams, and we just got to play better. And Coach mentioned it from the very get-go with your talk to him, getting better every day. He's getting better at the little things every day is what we have to maintain.
Step aside. We'll take our final break and hear a word from our post-game show sponsor, Ace Hardware of Salem, and we'll come back and name our Ace Hardware Player of the Game and wrap things up here from the Hawks Nest and our coverage today of this holiday tourney presented by the host Springs Valley Blackhawks. Back with our final segment right after this. Here at Springs Valley High School, Senators fall 53-37. They will be back in action tomorrow. Just a little programming reminder before we wrap things up here. Of course, Paoli and Scholes getting ready to go at it here in just about 5 minutes or so, just a little under 5 minutes to play. They will be in this 5:30 time slot with New Washington, and Springs Valley will play in the 7:15 slot. So a couple of games left here today in opening round of pool play. Tomorrow morning, things will kick off at 10:30 a.m. It will be Paoli to take on this Christian school from Martinsville that gave Shoals all they wanted and more in game 1 today. And then West Washington will take on New Washington at 12:15. So expect our pregame show coverage to start somewhere around 10 till 12, somewhere in that neighborhood. We'll be on before noon tomorrow with our Senator tip-off pregame show as we get you set for the Mustangs and Senators. Hopefully the Senators can get a split, and then that would move us at least into that third-place consolation game tomorrow which the first game, the 5th, 6th place game, will take place at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. The consolation game or 3rd place game will take place at 5:45. Scheduled tip for the championship at 7:30. But Senators just trying to do anything and everything they can to snap this now 5-game skid. Time to name our Ace Hardware Player of the Game. That's going to go to Holden Bousman. Great game for the freshman floor general, especially in the second half where he scored all 15 of his points, including 3 big triples from downtown to get him going. He was overall 6 of 10 from the floor, 3 of 4 from 2-point range, 3 of 6 behind the arc, dished out 4 assists on the day, had a couple of block shots and a couple of rebounds. So congratulations to the freshman, Holden Bousman. You are the Ace Hardware Player of the Game. Coach, quick final thought?
Another reason, I mean, obviously we want to break this skid. 5-game losing streak. We have to be more consistent to do that, but we definitely want to try and get that win so you don't have to play back-to-back games. You want to get a couple, if we play at 12, and then the 5th and 6th place game is at 4. So basically, if we lose, we have to play back-to-back. So we at least get a little bit of a rest if we can knock off New Washington.
We'll be right back here tomorrow, Coach, and I'll see you a little bit before noon.
All righty, thank you.
Senators fall here today. One more time, 53-37, the final. Senators get 2 players in double figures. Harrison Sanford with 12, Holden with 15. Most of that damage coming, though, in the second half of play for both of those players. But Senators just got to find some answers offensively to get things clicking. Can't find themselves down 12-0 tomorrow against the Mustangs, or it could be a long afternoon for Senator Nation. As we wrap up this broadcast of Senator basketball here from the Hawks Nest today and our coverage of this 2017 holiday tournament, we want to give a final shout out and thank you to all the sponsors that make this and every broadcast of Senator basketball possible on WSLM. Those sponsors, one more time, include John Jones GM City. Check them out at 1450 South State Road 60 there in Salem. Our Senator Tip-Off pregame show sponsor, as well as our halftime Senator Report sponsor, Eddie Gilstrap Motors, and Ace Hardware of Salem, bringing you this postgame show coverage, as always, here on WSLM. Also, our great sponsors, McDonald's on South Main Street in Salem, home to Coach's Corner each Wednesday evening, as well as Walmart, new sponsors joining up this year and teaming up with Senator Basketball. Brady Bishop, a loyal listener and a loyal sponsor, Brady Bishop and Channel Seeds, as well as Salem Crossing and Meadowview Healthcare. All of those sponsors so greatly appreciated, and be sure to let those sponsors know how much they are appreciated if you have an opportunity when you are out and about or you see those sponsors in the area. Senators fall here today. They drive their record now to 2-6. Try to snap a 5-game skid rather tomorrow against New Washington. Again, that's scheduled for a 12:15 tip. We'll be on the air around 11:50 with our Senator Tip-Off pregame show coverage, and that'll do it here for us today from the Hawks Nest. So for my sidekick and broadcast partner Mark Gibson, our live stream operator Craig Akers, and for our studio engineer back on cold Radio Ridge, Miss Becky White, a great job as always. This is Misty Jones saying so long and good evening from the Hawks Nest in French Lick. Senators fall 53-37, the final. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon, everybody.